Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 here of Jacket Journeys, the podcast giving light to some of the different sports here in DCDS athletics. On this episode, I am joined by Country Day head volleyball coach Kim Lockhart. Absolute pleasure having you here on the show and excited to kind of hear your story.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so first, I want you to just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and your background with the game of volleyball and kind of what brought you here to Country Day.
Okay, sure. Basically, growing up, I actually was a big basketball player, and I came from a basketball family and such, but then learned to actually love the game of volleyball along the way. I actually was a two-sport college athlete, so I played basketball and volleyball in college. I actually chose to go to a smaller school rather than a Division I school to play basketball, believe it or not, because I really wanted to play both sports. And from there, I just learned to really love the game. Got into coaching as well while I was playing in college, and even played obviously after college and on the beach, indoors, and tournaments, and kind of continued the game. And it just kind of brought me to, this lifelong sport slash hobby that I enjoy.
Yeah, and you mentioned this is your 10th year at Country Day. Tell me a little bit about how it felt coming into Country Day and kind of what the goal was for you as head volleyball coach and what the vision was of where you wanted that volleyball program to go.
Sure. Well, prior to Country Day, I was at Grosse Pointe North, actually. And actually, Mr. Bearden, who was our previous director here at Country Day, he was actually in Grosse Pointe. So I actually I got to know him over there and such. And he was the principal there, and I was the volleyball coach. And he's a really big volleyball guy as well. So when he kind of came over to Country Day, I was looking to switch teaching jobs and things like that. And it just kind of worked out that, he was here. So when I came into Country Day 10 years ago, we had this conversation about just what are we going to do with this volleyball program? Are we going to build it up, improve it from the past? And we really made a huge difference, really right from the get-go. So 10 years ago, and I do talk about, Tim's kids too, because they were coming through here. So his youngest daughter, Kennedy Bearden, actually was a freshman. And we had some great athletes that year coming in my freshman year. And they weren't all volleyball players, but they were Division I athletes. I still remember Izzy Nino being she plays soccer. Now she's playing professional, but she played at Michigan. So she was a big Division I soccer player. And then Sasha Harchi was a big Division I tennis player. So we had all of these athletes, and so it was just kind of bringing in this new culture and just this way of coaching and learning. And the girls were they were all like sponges. They just kind of gravitated to it. And 10 years ago, we just started making a name for Country Day, honestly. And all these girls that have come through this program have really set this path for the girls that are here now, to be honest with you.
So give me a little bit of a rundown of the last 10 years and how that's brought us to where the program is today.
So, like I said, it started, it just started getting the buy-in, right? This is what we kind of have to do to get to where we need to be. And throughout the past 10 years, and really the past, let's see now, it's been 6 years. The past 6 years, we've really, really made our mark. We have been ranked in the top 10 every year in the past 6 years, which honestly, Country Day has never been ranked in volleyball, in the past. So that's been, an amazing accomplishment. We've been ranked first, second, third, you name it. We've been at the tippy top. We've beaten big Division I schools. It's been pretty impressive along the way. And I think now we actually have the athletes they want to be here. They want to play volleyball. They want to be on this team. And it's really because of what we've been doing these past 10 years and the players that have actually come through here 6 years ago. So one of my daughters came through 6 years ago, and her and two other girls that were kind of like this freshman group, they came through, and it's really when we started to really take off because they were freshmen, but they were playing at such a high level that they really complemented kind of the other girls that were on the team. And, during their reign of 4 years, because they were on varsity for 4 years, we won two district championships. We made it to the quarterfinals. That kind of was like that start where we really were starting to make a reputation for ourselves. And after that, we've had athletes that, Serena Nyambio, who plays at Michigan right now, one of the best middles out there. She came through Country Day, and my daughter Morgan, who's at Ferris, the Reese Abraham, who's playing at Yale. So we've really had so many athletes now that have kind of come through this program and now are off playing in college, at big schools. So it's been pretty impressive.
You mentioned underclassmen making a big difference and kind of building this team to where it's gotten to, and that's no different this year with this 2024 volleyball team. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of the team dynamics of your group and who your leaders are and really just what it means to be a part of this 2024 team?
Yeah, this team is different. It's first of all, we have great leaders. We have Olivia Grenadier, who is a senior this year. She's been on this team since she's been a freshman. She was playing with that group that I was talking about previously. She was a baby when they were juniors and seniors. So she's now the leader, and her along with Morgan Anderson and Ava Kershaw, they're like these great, solid leaders who they don't get rattled, so they're kind of coming in with this different kind of attitude and swagger, as I will call it, because they don't get rattled. And I think these underclassmen are kind of thriving on that. We have two freshmen this year that are on varsity, Cece and Peyton. The two of them are, they're playing big roles on this team. Peyton is our starting setter, so she's running the show as a freshman, which, that takes a lot of, discipline and honestly courage and competitiveness. And she's been doing an amazing job along with, Cece. Like I said, she's a freshman. She's playing right side for us this year, and she gets a lot of time. She's consistent, gets the job done. And not only are those two freshmen, but we have three sophomores that are right there in the mix too, starting. So we're young with this sprinkle of, experience, basically.
Tell me a little bit about, as we're recording this towards the end of the regular season, tell me a little bit about how the season's gone for you so far and some of the challenges that you faced, and also where you're kind of looking to take this team as we inch closer to the playoffs.
Sure. This season we've had actually a pretty great season. We're 21-1 as of now. And the only team that we've lost to thus far is Mercy, Farmington Mercy, who they were state champions last year in Division I. So, having that be our only loss, we've kind of just actually, it's been my goal, honestly. I've said, I would love for that team to be our only loss this season, whether it is or not, but so far the girls have really just built upon each win, each game, and, they're just kind of focused going into this postseason. We have, this week, the end of this week, and then next week, and then we start playoffs the first week in November. So I think they're ready. Our biggest hurdle, as always, is Notre Dame Prep. We always see them in districts, or the one year we saw them in quarterfinals. But that for us has always been kind of this mental challenge for us. We side by side, we're definitely the better team, and our record does show it. But it's that mental hurdle that we need to get past and get through. That I know that there's so many different teams that face challenges like that, and I will say that that's probably going to be our biggest challenge this year. Once we get past them, I think we can win a state championship.
It's exciting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to hear, how you started 10 years ago and where this
Mm-hmm.
program is now at the top of the state in
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, and really a force to be reckoned with. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we thank everyone for listening to this episode of Jacket Journeys. Thank Coach Kim Lockhart for being here. Keep a lookout for more to come. We're going to have a lot of other teams in here, some state championships. So excited to see where we take this.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.